America. It's your main man, the Red Face for Sports. You know what time it is. Hey, America, I'm out here in the sunny weather. I'm in Orlando at the TDJ's conference. It is hot. I didn't know it was time to start. Tell you the truth, America. Man, I got all this sun on top of my head. Hey, Ron, how's everything going back there?
Hey man, it's just you see the background, see what the color of the wall look like. That's exactly what it looked like outside.
That would look like outside grayish.
Yeah, it's gray, it's dark, man. It's a little gloomy. It's cold, man. I got
Right.
a hoodie on, man. You out here in your short sleeve shirt, man. Got
I
the
got I got my short
palm
sleeve
trees,
shirt on. The
palm
palm
trees
trees in the
just
back.
waving.
Man, the conference is lovely. It's a lot of people out here, and the conference going well. TDJ spoke this morning, and we got
Mm.
some word. We got refreshed.
Yeah, there you go. See this, and you got some good sunshine to go with it.
Let's go with it. I tell you who needed some sunshine. The Sixers needed some sunshine last night because
Oh,
that was a rainy day right there.
but you know what? When you talk about that game, it got out of hand in the third quarter.
Yes,
You know, the first the first half, the Sixers was hanging. They were hanging tough. Embiid, he needed to get himself together, but he had 5 blocks.
he did.
You've seen the difference that he's in there. But that third quarter, I mean, think about this: the Celtics made 23 pointers.
Man, everybody was hot too. It wasn't just like one person. It was everybody on
It
ball.
was everybody, and they had 10, and they had 10 in the third quarter by itself. That's when the lead
That
opened. That's when the lead opened up. And then think about it too. You lost by 34. Okay, Tatum, he was in foul trouble. He only had 7 points, but the Sixers shot 29% from the field.
yeah, and got blown out. That
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
yeah. See, and that's what I'm saying. So I want to ask you, as I was watching the game, I had a question. Who do you think the offense should be run through? Should you run it through Embiid or should you run it through Harden and then allow Embiid to pick his spots as time goes on?
I think that's the balance that they're trying to figure out now. Against Boston, I think you might want to let Harden run the offense, run it through Harden, and then Embiid gets to get the leftovers, and Maxey gets his, and I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, because I mean, game one, you really seen, Boston said they was angry and they were frustrated at letting the Sixers steal one
That's right.
from them. But I don't think that was the case. I think that they had trouble with this. First of all, the Sixers' depth. You had, Reed was starting the game. Reed, me and you talked about
Reed,
it. Reed has really shown up this
Reed
playoff
is
season.
really playing basketball.
And then you have, Maxey. Smart can't do nothing with Maxey.
Can't do nothing with Max.
Tatum and Brown don't want to play defense because they're the offensive guys. So you're looking from other places, from a Derek White or from a Brogdon. And Brogdon went on. Do you expect Brogdon to have 25 points again?
That, he ain't never gonna do that a day in his
That
life again.
See,
He
and
was
that's
on
not gonna
fire.
happen. And then here's another thing too that we know with Embiid. The next 2 games in Philly, he feeds off of that energy from the crowd.
Yes,
I think people understand too with Joel Embiid that if you get physical with Joel Embiid, you're only poking the bear
that's right.
because
That's right.
and that's another thing he feeds up. Maxey had 13 points, Harden had 12 points, Embiid had 15, and Harris had 16, and you shot 29% from the field and 20% from threes. You were 6 for 30. That's not gonna
Yeah.
happen again.
And Harden's shots, his shots were going in and out, so that ain't gonna happen no more.
They were down and they just rolled back out. That was about 3 threes that I've seen that happen.
About yep. So I think that's one of those games that things just got away from you, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll go to the next game ready to go. You did what you had to do. You stole home field advantage from Boston. Now you
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and finish the deal.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing about this game 3 too that I think is pivotal for the Sixers to win because it's home. It's home court. Tatum is frustrated because Tatum was in foul trouble. But
Yes,
you're at home. You have the confidence. You know you can beat them. This has been sitting on. This has been sitting. You've been dealing with this for 3 years, Boston. You can't. Embiid has never been out of the second round. So
yep,
I mean, the way I'm looking at it. If you run the offense through James Harden and allow James Harden facilitate the game. That's what he did in game one. I mean, him facilitating got Harris with
That's
25
right.
points. He had Maxey with 29 points. And that opened up the floor. If you run it through Embiid and put Embiid at the top of the key, Boston ain't got to do nothing.
They ain't got nothing for him.
No,
nothing.
But when you have Embiid at the top of the key, that makes it easy for Boston because Harden isn't somebody who's good at no pick and roll. So he's going to be sitting on the outside. Now everybody's standing around. Let Harden facilitate that offense. So let Harden do what he does. And I think you can win both of these games at home if you do that.
Oh yeah, they could definitely win both games. And I think Boston has more trouble when the guard play starts the offense. I think that's their trouble they had with Atlanta. I think that's the trouble they had with the Sixers first game. And I think it's the trouble that the Sixers can impose on them if they let Harden start the offense and everything else. Embiid, Maxey, Harris, they get theirs when they fit in that.
And I think when you watched the game yesterday, they had Jaylen Brown guarding Harden full court. Once Harden gets past half court, you're going to be at a rest for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds because he's just going to be standing there and he's going to be dribbling. So when you get across half court, move the ball around. If you're just sitting there with the ball stagnant, you're allowing Boston to get set.
That's right.
You're allowing Boston to get set, and they can set up their defense. You can play zone and just you could double Embiid, then what?
Yeah, and that's what they want to do. They want to double Embiid, and then they want to help out everywhere else. But if you're the Sixers, you want to spread them out, let Embiid eat, and then let Harden go to work.
Yeah, and that's how once if you started off with Harden and allow Harden to do what he does, you have to defend him now. So now you can't double.
That's right.
I think Tobias on the wing in the Brooklyn series, and then they were all off yesterday. But in game one, him being on the wing and able to his game is the mid range. That's Tobias's game. But if you can have him on the wing and he can set up and do what he needs to do, you really can't stop him on the block. He just needs to make his shots. He didn't make his shots yesterday.
That's right. They I think just one of those games where the other team was hot, your shots weren't dropping, and that's okay because the whole series we ain't expect to sweep Boston in the first place.
No,
we go in there, we went in there, we got the game we needed to get. Now we go home and we handle our business.
And think about this too. Game 3 at home, the MVP award has been named the Kobe Bryant Award. So Embiid is going to get his first MVP award in the city of Philly, in that city. Man, he is going to be. He's going to be answered. I just need him to pace himself because he's going to have so much energy. And then he don't like Boston.
Yeah. The Sixers fan base don't like Boston. That's our arch rival. That's the enemy. In America, I'm trying to tell you, America, what we're going to do, we're going to handle these Celtics. We're going to beat Boston. We're going to win the championship. It's Sixers. The rap trying to tell you on the beginning of the season, it's the Sixers year this year.
And as the season
we already know the Union let y'all down. we know the Phillies let y'all down. We know the Eagles broke your heart, but the Sixers gonna come through, America.
I'm hoping because these three, I'm struggling. The first 3, I'm struggling. So look, Embiid, I'm putting all the chips in, and I'm gonna say too, Doc. A lot of people blame Doc for game 2's loss. I think he adjusted the best he could do. They just were making their shots.
Oh yeah, it was hot. They were making their shots. They were making everything. I mean, everything was falling. Doc can't stop that. I mean, what Doc gonna do? Go on the court and play D? Ain't nothing he can do.
There was a point in the third quarter when the TV announcer said the Celtics on the last 10 times down the court, they're 70% and they hit 8 threes.
Whoa. When a team's hot like that, you just gotta chalk it up. They hot today, and then we'll come back and get them next game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you can see in the fourth quarter that the Sixers. I mean, it was just like, all right, let's take it.
Yeah,
We lost this one.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I saw that was a benefit for the Sixers in a blowout. I saw them put Reed in the game because they thought the game got out of hand. And I thought Reed really played well. Once again, I think they got something special in Reed. I think they got their backup center for the future. And I think the Sixers got a chance really to do something, not just this year, but the next few years.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, when they took the starters out and Reed was able to be in the game, and you knew the game was over. They were down 30.
Yes.
They really were up 40 at one point.
Right.
But the fight that the Sixers had, I mean, you got it back down to 27. And the coach had to call a timeout.
Yes.
Because it was like, y'all letting them get back into this game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that goes to show that, I mean, the Sixers are not going to quit. You knew that you wasn't going to win the game, but they didn't lay down.
That's right. They didn't lay down.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what type of game it is when you down by 27 and you came back and they be down by 27. It was just one of them type of game.
Yeah, it was really nothing that you could do. Now think about this. Jaylen Brown had 25 points. Jaylen Brown played good with Tatum in the foul trouble and couldn't do what he did. But Marcus Smart had 15 points. Derek White had 15 points coming off the bench. Brogdon had 23 points. These are players that Smart's not going to have another 15 points.
Never again.
No, Smart's not going to have 15. White's not going to. It shows White is a good player, but I think Derek White, he has trouble with, like you said, with the guard play.
Yes.
When you he's too big to guard Harden and Maxey. Maxey's too fast. You can't do nothing with Maxey.
Yeah, way too fast for him.
And I think that's why they switched Jaylen Brown on him. But after a while, Jaylen Brown was a little bit tired.
Yes. Because Maxey runs around all day. I mean, Maxey is running all fast and stuff. You be tired too.
And even when the game started getting out of hand, or before it really started getting out of hand, the Sixers were still right there for a little bit in the third quarter when Boston was making their little run. The Sixers would kind of chip away, but then it was just they was hitting their shots, and that's you're not going to see Boston make 23s again. In this
they'll never shoot like that again. So what you gotta do is you gotta refocus, come back with your defense, and I think in Philly, the big difference in Philly is going to be that crowd. That crowd is going to go crazy. And he's going to get that MVP award. That crowd is going to be so hysterical that now your defense improved. Just because I don't think Boston going to hear their plays called. I don't think Boston going to be able to just focus. Just that crowd is going to make the difference.
And you know what, too? We've talked about P.J. Brown a lot this season, just about him not offensively. But it's really showing his part on his team. I mean, Tatum doesn't like physicality. Every time Tatum comes across half court, they have P.J. Brown on him. But he calls for the pick and roll, and he gets somebody else on it. Because P.J. Brown, he frustrates Tatum, and I've seen that. And we talked about that yesterday. I don't know if Boston has the championship pedigree because, number one, we've seen it last year. Tatum kind of went a little absent in the finals. You know what I mean? And in the Atlanta series, if you get physical with Jason Tatum, he kind of goes a little bit by the wayside. And that's what P.J. Brown brings. So they're trying to figure out a way to switch him off to – I mean, he wants Harden on him because why? Harden ain't playing no defense.
Harden ain't playing no defense, that's for sure.
And that's what you want. And that's it.
Harden look like the Rev out there. I ain't going to play no defense. I'm calling for help. Help.
And I think that's going to be – I think moving forward in this game 3, I think you're going to see a totally different Philadelphia 76ers team.
I think so too. I think that second game was just a bad game. You put that away, you forget about that, and you come home and you really show the Boston Celtics who the best team in the league is, and I believe it's the 76ers.
Yeah,
Because last night while I was watching the game and it was all hot and sunny outside and I was all warm how was the weather back there? Were y'all okay? Were y'all?
you know what? It's funny you said that, Rev. It's funny that you brought that up because I had to turn the heat on
Yeah, to turn the heat
inside of
on
my house. Yeah.
Man, what a difference location makes.
Yeah, it was a little. It was. I mean, but I don't even think I needed. I don't even think I needed to turn the heat on as mad as I was at the
I
Sixers.
know they have made you hot. The Sixers have made you hot.
And you know what? It's I was telling you, my mom is really basketball has always been her favorite sport.
Yes.
Always been her favorite sport, but she's really into it. And I noticed when Minivan was in the game, and she says she texted me. She said, "Who's Minivan that y'all keep talking about?" I said, "Number 20," and she said, "That's what I thought." She said, "He ain't, he ain't it."
He is not him.
Nah, and did you see him try to drive to the basket and spin on Jaylen Brown?
I seen that nonsense.
And he got it punched right back to the 3-point line.
Yeah, the minivan is not him for sure. The minivan is running on empty because man, if you don't put I'd rather see Reed in the game if you're gonna put somebody in.
You know what? Let me ask you this. Would you rather see Minivan or Korkmaz in the game?
Well, you know what? I think Korkmaz, and I remember watching him a couple games, and I see what the problem is. He can't play defense on anybody.
No.
He's either too slow or too weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That makes him a liability. I think his offensive game is okay. It's his defense that makes him a liability.
Yeah, and I just when he the only way you see him bailing himself out is he's gonna foul, and that's 3 points for the other team because Tatum and Brown and Marcus Smart they're all good from the free throw line.
One thing we can say about the minivan will play defense and he will hustle.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see tomorrow night's game because it's going to show where the leadership comes from with the 76ers. Is it going to start with Harden? Is it going to start with Embiid? It's got to start somewhere because the one thing that I've noticed with the Sixers over the years, you got Embiid, he's a dominant player, but I wouldn't say that he's a leader. Harden is more of a quiet leader. Embiid is the best player, but Harden and a PJ Brown is the leader on the team to let you know how things are supposed to go.
Yeah, I think Harden is that quiet. I'm going to show you how to do it, leader. But last night his shots it wasn't him. His shots just wouldn't have gone down. They were going into the basket and just spinning out. So I expect him to have a bounce back game this third game.
Yeah, and I do, and I want to for a second, Rip. I want to talk about the confidence. You could just see it on the floor with Tyrese Maxey.
Oh yes.
The way he's playing is you're not gonna stop me on offense. and with him, he had 13 points. But again, then the whole team wasn't making their shots. Embiid and all the mid-range shots Embiid was missing. Those are going down.
9 times out of 10 they're going down, and you ain't got to worry about it. The Sixers will be up in that game if their shots are falling. But unfortunately, they just wasn't falling, and then all of a sudden Boston got hot.
And I'm friends with a guy. He's a big time Celtics fan, so we always going back and forth. But he said when Boston plays like this, can't nobody beat us. I said Boston never going to play like this again.
Never ever going to play.
First of all, they're never going to hit 23s. They're never going to shoot 57% from the field with Tatum in foul trouble. That's never going to happen again. And again, we talked about it. Brogdon ain't going to have 25 points again.
No, not at all. That's one of those 1 in 100 games for Boston. The Sixers going to be just fine,
Hmm.
especially back in Philly, where they're going to have an opportunity to beat off the fans. And like I told you, the fans are going to make the difference. Hey, Philadelphia fans, this is your chance. You're going to make a difference, and you could push the Sixers over the top.
Yeah, and I think the confidence that game one gave Philadelphia, you're going to see. I mean, again, the reason that the Celtics were shooting like that and was because there was no physicality. I mean, they were wide open most of those shots.
Oh yeah, and they was making shots from deep. I mean, real deep.
Yeah, it it Brogdon and when I say Brogdon's not going to have 25 points again, Brogdon is a really good role player.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but if you leave him at the 3-point line 4 times in a row and he's got 6 feet of separation from somebody, he's going to make it. He's an NBA
Oh,
player.
oh yeah, he's an NBA player now. He's definitely an NBA player, but he's not going to hit 25 points again.
No,
You have to worry about that. No,
and,
not
and I
anymore.
think and I think the number one thing with Doc that was the truth. He said we wasn't physical at all. There was no he said there was no aggressiveness to the when they passed the ball, nobody rushed to the other player no more. He said we let them just do whatever they wanted to do. He said, but that's not going to happen again. So
That's not going to happen again.
mm-mm.
That's not going to happen again. The Sixers will be just fine. That was one of those games that it happens every once in a while. And the other team gets hot, and you just have to deal with it. And now you come back the next game and you show them who the best team is.
And I think when I asked the question earlier about who should the offense run through, Harden or Embiid, I said that because when Embiid got on the floor in game 2, you've seen everybody standing around waiting on him to take over the game. And it shouldn't be like that. I mean, it really shouldn't be like that. It would help Embiid out so much on the floor because we know Embiid can score whenever he wants on whoever
Oh
he
yeah,
wants. But Tobias needs to be aggressive. Harden, we know Harden can be aggressive, and we know that. So Harden, you run the offense. It goes to you. That's what. If I was Embiid, Harden, I'm taking a step back. You run this team. Somebody comes to the basket. I'll be the defensive player. I'm gonna get my points whenever they. And Maxey, look at here, Maxey. I'm saying it right here. Maxey gonna have 35 game 3.
Boston seems to have trouble with that guards play, especially with
Mm-hmm.
the speed of the guards. So yeah, I expect Maxey to have a big game. I know Harden would have had a big game 2, but his shot just wasn't falling down. So
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that the Sixers going to bounce back and their offense is going to be just fine.
And the second team rotation, they didn't play well at all, and they're probably one of the best in the league. Everybody talks about Boston's team being deep. Philadelphia's bench players, come on,
Yeah,
man. You got Melton coming off the bench and Reed. That's solid play you're gonna get. So, hey, I got the Sixers going up 2-1.
2-1. I expect them to go up 2-1. I expect them to win at home, and I expect them to win this series. To tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm. Now let's jump over to. Well, before we jump over to this, I'm gonna have a little quick throwback Thursday because
Okay.
Embiid, obviously we know is the MVP. So
Yes.
who do you think has the most NBA MVPs all time?
The most MVPs all time, I would have to say, is Bill Russell.
No, it actually Bill Russell and Michael Jordan are tied with 5.
Oh, okay. The time was
Yeah.
fine.
So it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He got 6.
Kareem got 6. I was gonna pick Kareem too.
And think about that center play, man, in that era with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all these other centers to get 6 MVPs in 10 years.
He got 6 MVPs in 10 years.
His first MVP was 1970. His last was 1979.
Whoa.
That is
That's
dominant.
incredible.
See, and that's another thing too for Magic to have that stability at center. And he's doing this and he's scoring and he got an MVP when the team didn't and on one year when the team didn't even make the playoffs.
He won the MVP and the team didn't make the playoffs. That's an incredible feat right there.
Yeah, man. It's Magic Bird and Tim Duncan. They all have 3.
Wow.
Yeah, it's LeBron and Will Chamberlain got 4. Mike and Bill Russell got 5. But think about this. You know, Bill Russell, he's got 5 MVPs. He's got 11 championships in 13 years. During that span of all those championships, there was only 8 teams.
Hey, I was going to say, there's only 8 teams in the league.
Yeah, and the series, the series wasn't long like this, like it was here.
Right. So those Boston teams, they deserve respect, but at the same time, you got to recognize that they had a different type of league back then, a league with a whole lot less teams and a whole lot less talent.
Yeah, and when you have somebody like a Bill Russell back then, there was nobody that was going to do anything with him. Yeah, when you see the film on him, I'm like, it looked like he was playing with little kids, man.
He was a grown man playing with the teenagers.
Yeah, it just. But hey, I mean, to have going back to Kareem, man,
6 and 10 years.
That's dominant.
I mean, that sky hook of Kareem's was unblockable. First of all, he's 7 foot. That's number one. So when he lifts us up, when he lifts the shot up, who's gonna go up there and get with him? Then he dropped it down, like his shot caused it to go down to the basket. So there was no stopping it.
No, and think about this: the sky hook over all the years, he only got blocked 1 time, and that was by Will Chamberlain. And the only reason he blocked it was because Kareem said I stepped on his foot and I couldn't get up as high as I could. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason. The sky hook was unblockable. The sky hook was a weapon. I could never do the sky hook. I tried, but I just couldn't do it.
I tried to.
It worked.
I mean, I wasn't tall enough to even try it,
Yeah. I attempted it, but it just didn't work. My sky hook had a hook in it.
Yeah, that ain't look right.
Yeah, that's a bad hook. That's a bad sky hook when it hooks.
They probably
hook to the left and to the right.
Did they ever call a technical foul? Because if you tried to, you probably just threw it in the back of somebody's head, man.
Matter of fact, I threw a sky hook one time, and the shot was so bad that the crowd was like, "What is going on?" I was like, no, "That was just, I just missed it. I'm sorry." They thought they was under attack.
Sometimes that happens, man. That's why the next time down, did you dunk it?
Yeah, next time down, I was like, I ain't gonna do sky hook no more. That don't work.
Yeah. Now let's jump over to the game tonight. Lakers and the Warriors.
The Lakers and the Warriors. I got the Warriors coming back and winning this game.
Yeah.
I thought that the Lakers were hot that first game, but I don't see that happening anymore.
No, you know what? I found it interesting after that game, Steve Kerr, how confident he was. I mean, and to say it to the media, he said, as I watched the game and towards the end of the game, I seen Anthony Davis. He was out of breath. And I seen LeBron was out of breath. He was like, and, they were forced to play 40 and 44 minutes. He said, LeBron is 38 years old. Anthony Davis is 30 years old. He was like, we understand how to play the game now. He was like, they're not going to be able to match that energy for a 7-game series. He said, what we're going to do, he said, we're just going to turn up the speed. He said, and we're going to make the other ones beat us. He said, and I don't think that they're going to be able to do that in a 7-game series. That's real confident to say.
Well, 2 things. I think he's right. And B, you got to remember, he's been coaching a championship team for four seasons now. 4 times they've been world champions. He knows exactly what it takes. He knows exactly what they need to do. He knows exactly how to play LeBron James and them. So he is confident. He's confident that I can make the adjustment in that first game. They played a good game, but they can't do it 7 times. They can't do it 4 times.
No, and think about this too. He knows how to win. He has 9 championships.
He got 9 championships.
He got 3 with the Bulls. He's got
Lord.
3. Well, no, I think he got 10. He got 3 with the Bulls. I think he got 2 or 3 with San Antonio, and then
And then we'll go to the
4 with them.
Lord. Everywhere he go, he win championships.
Yeah, and I mean, and to understand your team like that, to know, I mean, because you see it with Golden State. Game 1, Steve Kerr kind of just watches to see what the other team is trying to do. And once the game 2, I mean, he did it with Sacramento. Game 1, Sacramento came out and it was just they did what they did, and then they went down 0-2. Golden State won the next 3, man.
Yeah, they did. They won the next 3 games. Yeah, you're right. And so Steve Curry, he says, I'm confident because I've been here before and I know what to expect. He knows how to coach his team.
I just and again, like you said, I really don't think. I mean, they're going to be. I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to recover right now. I mean, I think their bodies are still going to be. Anthony Davis, like you said yesterday, Anthony Davis is not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't trust Anthony Davis.
45 minutes.
No, sir. I don't trust Anthony Davis a bit. And another thing we got to think about with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr played for Phil Jackson and Pop.
Two of the top 5 coaches, man, ever.
That's 2 Hall of Fame coaches right there.
Mm-hmm. And I do. Now that we're talking about the coaching, we always talk about Mark Jackson, and we know Mark Jackson built that team.
Yes.
But I was listening to Bill Laimbeer.
Yes.
And Bill Laimbeer said Mark Jackson is an outstanding coach. He said, but I think what Golden State saw was Mark Jackson couldn't elevate Steph Curry's game to what Steve Kerr did, because what Steve Kerr brought was a different type of system that was able to let his game grow a different kind of way. He said as soon as Steve Kerr came into got the coaching job, he said the first day he sat the team down, and I remember Iguodala saying this too. He said he sat the entire team down and said, Steph Curry the ball goes through him. If anybody has a problem, you can pack up your stuff and leave now.
That's a statement right there.
Yeah, and everybody had to follow. And look what happened. And you can see it. You can see it in the 7-game series against Sacramento. Clay is a Hall of Famer. We know Clay's a Hall of Famer. Draymond is a 4-time champion. But in order to get through a 7-game series, a grueling 7-game series like Sacramento gave it to him, then Curry he's that type of player, which I don't know. We're gonna see if LeBron can. We're gonna see if LeBron can do it in the 7-game series, if he can elevate his team over Steph Curry's team.
LeBron can't do it. He can't do it. LeBron ain't him. LeBron ain't him. But when you really think about it, though, that what Steve Kerr brought to that Golden State team was the leadership they needed at the time. And sometimes you just need the leadership that's going to take you to that next level. You need somebody to say, this division, and we're going to operate according to this vision. And I think that's what Steve Kerr brought to him. He said, we're going to shoot the ball from the outside, because that's the type of team we are. And when you think about it, Mark Jackson, when he played for the Knicks as a point guard, they were a different type of team. They were a pound inside type team. So maybe they did get the right type of leader at the time. Don't mean they both not good. It's just that you might need a different type of leader.
And I think that's what Mark Jackson was trying to make the Golden State Warriors at the time, but they weren't built that way.
Yes.
You try to make Harrison Barnes physical. He's just
right.
He's not that kind of player. And when you look at this series, they're going to have to, and I think this is what you'll see this more of Popovich's vision, because he started with the players from overseas, and when he did that, he was able to spread the floor out. With a Ginobili and what's the Patty Mills and all those kind of players spread the floor, and they're going to have to do that against LA because LA's big, they're physical, and you just run them off the court.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. LA is a much bigger team than Golden State, and they're going to have trouble keeping up with Golden State speed. But my key to the game is Hachimura. Wax on, wax off. He's the one person that I think is athletic enough to stay with some of the people in Golden State, like Wiggins and Poole.
I think you're gonna see that's one player. I'm glad you brought that up was Jordan Poole, because I feel like Golden State could have still won game one.
Oh yeah, they could have.
Jordan Poole pulled up from half court to shoot that three. What in the world?
He was feeling it. Sometimes as a shooter, you be feeling it, but they don't work out for you. He thought he was hot.
Yeah, I don't know Poole. I need Poole to figure out a way to elevate his game, man, because Sacramento series he was absent.
Yes.
And this series, you gotta figure this out. You coming off the bench, you're the sixth man.
Yes.
And you're not able to. When you watch him, sometimes it kind of looks like he's like chaotic. He's all over the place. He tries to drive to the basket and make these. You can't. I don't understand, man.
Well, I think Poole. I think what they saw in Poole is a young man that has the talent to be good, but I think he's still in that in between stage. Am I Steph Curry or am I Clay? You know what I mean? He can't figure it quite out. So like when he took that shot, that was a Steph Curry shot. So he still think, he hasn't figured out that he's not Steph Curry, and it doesn't have to be Steph Curry. Just be Poole.
That's all they need you to be. Because when he shot the shot, when you go back and you look at that last play, when he shot that 3-pointer, as he was shooting the ball and it was in the air, Curry looked at him and then just put his hands on his knees like,
right.
What are you doing, Poole?
Right.
Because they went on a 15-0 run to catch up.
That's one of those shots where your teammates shoot and you like, no.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they look. He took his mouthpiece out and just was just like, I can't believe he just did this. But you know what? Looking at this game, the Warriors might beat him in 5 or 6, man. Because LA is going to be tired.
I think so too. I think the Warriors going to run, and they got that type of run and gun team. They're going to run, and they're going to try to run LA out and make LA tired. LeBron getting up there in age, and I don't think he keep up with these boys. And I think they will win it at 6. I think 6 is what they're going to win it at.
So if we got them moving on, and then you look at Denver and Phoenix play tonight, and now they're in Phoenix. That don't matter, do it.
Well, Phoenix is unless Phoenix got a button they can push, they done.
Yeah, I feel like they're. I feel like they're top heavy. You have Booker and you have KD, and think about this now: the leader on that team is out for the next 2 to 3 games.
Man, this is the first playoff season I ever seen so many top people, so many stars get hurt.
I don't understand.
Chris Paul is gonna miss games.
But think about this: for the past 4 or 5 years straight, Chris Paul has gotten injured.
That's what happens when you get old. That's just a factor of age.
But this is the 3rd year in a row that this is growing, man. What's happening, man?
Yeah, when you get old, that's stuff you pull right there.
Hey, man, you need to get that check, Chris.
Yeah, man.
What's happening, man?
Well, as age, you can't account for Father Time. Father Time got some tricks for you.
So do you think Chris Paul needed to just hang it up? Because he's not going to win a ring this year.
Unfortunately for Chris Paul, his body is telling him it's time to go. Yep. And when your body tells you it's time to go, no matter how much want to you got in it, your body is telling. Your body is just shouting out to you, hey, it's time to quit this. We can't do this no more.
Yeah, I think was on television yesterday, J.J. Watt, and they were asking him about, when he retired and what's one thing that he regretted. And he said, the number one thing that I regretted in my career was coming back too early off of injuries. He said, and I think that's what caused more injuries down the line. He said, because, when you're playing, you have the thought in your mind, I got all these fans watching me. I got, they're paying me so much money. I got to get back. I can't let these people down. He said, coming off of ACLs or, different kind of injuries. He said, I tore my quad. He said, and I tried to come back in 5 weeks. That's crazy, man.
You cannot come back in those 5 weeks after you tear a quad. I'm trying to tell you right now.
But that's the thing he said. He said, my mentality was, if I can walk on it, I can run on it.
Right.
But that's just being young. He said, he said, tearing my quad, he said, and trying to get back, he said, that's what messed up my back because I was putting more stress on that. He said, that's what tore my knee up. He said, so the injury, and that's, I brought that up because the same thing with Chris Paul, the same thing with, we were talking about Kawhi. We were all hollering about Kawhi should have played. We didn't know he had a tour, but the team ain't put that out there because they wanted him to play on it.
Yeah, we had no idea that was the facts. And like you said, the team wants you to play. Mm-hmm. But what the team won't tell you is, soon as your career is over, they don't care nothing about you.
We don't care nothing about you. We've seen that firsthand with my man from the Titans. They put the team brought his bags to his house door and trash bags and left them.
Trash bag. They brought his bags in a trash bag and just left it on the porch.
That's crazy, man. I've been on this team for 11 years, and I am the number one offensive tackle on this team, and y'all left my bags at the door?
At the door?
You didn't even want me to come to the facility.
At least put mine in a duffel bag or something, though. Don't put my stuff in a trash bag.
Yeah. Imagine that, man. You waking up, man, and you got bags on and it's your stuff. All the stuff in your locker, everything.
The neighbors ask you, you okay? You all right? Everything okay?
See, but they knew, I think Tennessee knew if they told him inside of the facility, they was going to have some trouble getting him out of there.
Yeah, he is an offensive lineman. He is a big guy.
Man. You don't want to.
They were like when we tell him we want to over the phone, they say we're going to do a Zoom call with you.
Yeah, you gotta. But hey, he said he couldn't get in. Here's another thing too about that. He said I couldn't get in the building after they. See, well, they knew if they brought your bags and stuff to your house, why are you coming to the building now?
They knew. They knew. They ain't dumb.
Yeah, you come on, man.
We laughed at them. They was like, man, this is the best thing for safety. This big old man get in here. How we gonna get him out?
Yeah, because security said, look, if you want us to get him out of here, pack his bags up and we'll drive it to his house.
We drive.
While he sleep too. No, we're not doing that. Yeah.
So when you drop it off, making sure he sleep.
So you have, I think we both got Denver.
I got Denver winning the series. I think I don't trust KD.
You think it's going to be a sweep?
No, they won't sweep them. Phoenix got too much pride for that. But I don't trust KD's want to. I don't think he cares about winning championships like that. I think he just enjoys playing basketball, and I actually think he's looking forward to the summertime. I think he's like, hey, we're gonna take a break here, and let's get this thing over with.
I think we know he got a girlfriend now, so I think he want to relax, man.
But how did we know he had a girlfriend? How did we know KD had a girlfriend?
He had that clean haircut that day.
Yeah, he had a haircut, beard all trimmed up.
Yeah, and you know what? Since then, it's been cut.
Listen, women polish a man. I'm gonna say that again. Women will polish a man. And as soon as I seen him all shaped up, I'm like, oh, he got a woman.
Yeah, because we've seen him single.
Yes.
His head.
Yeah, we seen where it's just him.
Yeah, but Barkley said, I bet you if you tried to pick that, he said it'd sound like 4th of July.
I know that's right. His head was PZ. That's that PZ head right there.
Yeah, that thing. I don't know, man. unfortunately, I'm gonna move to this. I'm gonna move over here. We ain't talked about this in a while, but I'm gonna move over to baseball.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Braves are leading the NL East.
The Atlanta Braves, red favorite team. That's why the Red try to tell America what's going to happen is Dallas Cowboys going to win the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Braves going to win the World Series.
That's stuff
And the
right
Sixers
there.
going to win the championship. When you got the red as your fan, I'm trying to tell you, when you got the red as your fan, you're going all the way to the top.
Now, the Phillies, they just got Bryce Harper back, but they're on a 4-game losing streak. I mean, these games have been bad.
Now, let me tell you something. Bryce Harper is going to make a difference for that team. Now, I know they've been playing bad, but Bryce Harper is a superstar. He's going to make a big difference on that team, and not only on the field, but off the field. He gives that whole team confidence.
But again, we're talking about injuries. Do you think he came back too early? He had a Liz Frank injury, and you coming back, what was it, 100 and something days after surgery?
I'm hoping, and like you said that JJ Watt said that he was young and he didn't know any better. I'm hoping that Bryce Harper has the maturity level to say, if I'm hurt, I'm not playing.
Yeah. And I think that's okay. Like you said, fans and everybody, you don't want to let them down, but you got to understand these injuries, man, can have lifelong repercussions to these things. And your elbow, man, that's.
And like we said, no matter how good you are, when you retire, the team, the organization, they ain't got no time for you.
No, you did for them all that you could do. So now we're just going.
Yeah,
you got your money while you was playing. You should have spent it wisely.
You should have spent it wisely. They don't give you no more money. They don't give you no more benefits. So if you're mature enough, you'll understand that no matter how much the team wants you to play, no matter how much the fans want you to play, no, I don't care if the fans are texting you and emailing you, play. If you're not 100%, you got to take care of yourself, get 100%, and then get back to the game.
Yeah, because and also it goes to show too that these players need to, the ones who are learning about business, you need to pass that down onto these younger guys, because these younger guys are coming in there excited. You're getting all this attention, but this money you spending, like these guys, you see some of these guys, for example, at the draft, these guys ain't made no money from the NFL yet, and they got jewelry on that's $200,000, man.
Some of these guys got jewelry on. I'm thinking to myself, why are you spending your money on that?
Exactly. That's what I see. What I'm saying? It's you. Me and my wife were watching a documentary on Brian Williams yesterday. He used to play for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I remember
that got killed in the boat accident in the boat on the boat. His brother killed him.
Yes.
But Shaq was on there, and Shaq was talking about him, and he said the one thing about Brian Williams that I always remembered. He was like, me coming into the league, he said I had a private jet. I had about 10 cars. I had 2 houses, and I had beach homes. He said Brian Williams always spent his money. I mean, he said Brian Williams always saved his money. He said you never seen him, he said, I don't even think I remember seeing him in a suit.
Right.
He said, and he walked away in 1997 from he left $37 million on the table because he said he didn't want to play no more.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that right there, I think he had an understanding of business. You got these guys coming in here now, we were just talking about the NBA and the NFL and baseball too. When your career is over, they're not teaching you about business. First of all, you coming up in school, they're not teaching you about business. So when you're in the NFL and you're getting all this money thrown at you, you ain't trying to hear nothing about no business. You just got the money and you want to spend it. I think these older guys, like you said with Bryce Harper, they need to sit some of these young guys down, man, and talk to these guys. Y'all pulling up here 22 years old in a Lamborghini.
Unfortunately, our school system here nothing about you learning how to handle your money. As a matter of fact, they hope you never learn how to handle money because what it does is you become a worker bee and you're always going to be trying to make ends meet. But I believe that there are people now that understand that we got to teach our young people, we got to teach everybody how to handle their money properly. And once we start teaching people, I believe that we're going to see the quality of life in our nation get better. It's not the amount of money you make; it's how you handle your money.
It's funny. This how I know how God works. When He said He worked in mysterious ways, it's crazy because just the exact words that you're talking about now. Before we started the show, me and Jim were talking about how the Bible has it teaches you about finances.
Yes.
It teaches you about the financial kingdom and the rules that go along with inside of the kingdom. And you saying in this too. I mean, that's confirmation there that, again, like you said, they want you to be a worker bee.
They want you to be a worker bee.
Mm-hmm. And if you figure out how to get out of that, it's just lucky you. You know what I mean? It's just you figured it out, but we got millions and millions and millions of other worker bees that we can, continue to work. And I think, in sports, I think there should be classes for these young guys coming in here on how to handle your money and how to manage it the right way. I didn't learn about that till I was past 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but that was just because of school.
Yeah.
In school. But most of us we learn through trial and error. But you got these athletes. They're blessed to have millions on millions on millions. Now think about these baseball contracts. We seen a guy get 13 years, $457 million, man. Like what?
400. 400. Look, if you gave me the $57 million, but they gave him 400 plus the 57.
Yeah, man.
Man, that is money. That's why most people don't understand. There is more than enough money for everybody. More than enough money for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that there are people who they withhold the information that people need so that they could have the lifestyle that God wants them to have. But we are changing things. We have people like Jim Turner. Jim Turner will be teaching a class June 17th on how to handle your finances. And we're going to have a jump off point, and we're going to take it all over the world, and we're going to teach people how to handle their money, how to live the lifestyle that God wants them to have, how to be who God has called them to be. And it is a new day. It's a new start. It's a new beginning. I'm so excited. Faith and Sports is part of this.
Mm-hmm. And I think when you give people this information, this is the way the Bible was made for you to feed your spirit. A lot of us don't understand the financial part of things. I mean, we can go to finances, we can go to, emotions. All of these things are God teaches you about this stuff in the Bible. But what you have to do is open the book.
Oh yes.
How many times do people they say they're blessed and they have a Bible in their house, but the Bible got more dust on it than the back of people's TVs, man.
You go to their house one day, the Bible is opened up to a verse. And if you go to their house 10 years later, the Bible is still at that same verse. Like you ain't never turned that page in that Bible.
Yeah, and those are the only two pages in the Bible that's yellow.
Yeah, they're yellow. Yeah, because they ain't turned that page in 10 years.
Yeah,
but everything you need in life is in that Bible. Everything you need is right there. You just got to open it up. You got to read it. You got to spend time in it. I know Jesus told people. He said in Luke, he said that man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it frustrates me because we make it so hard. We make it hard on ourselves. God, look, man, God, I done laid everything out for you in words for you just read it, man. That's all I'm telling you to do is read it. There's over 600 commandments. I just told you 10. You
Right.
mean tell me you can't follow 10 of these things? You saying
Right.
that that's hard? Come on, man. Stop
Right.
this. It's we gotta. But like you said, that's why I'm so glad Favorite Sports is a part of all of this. We gonna change some things because I mean it's necessary. It done got way too out of hand. Now it's time to get everybody back together.
That's right. One of the Bible verses I like very much is the disciples, they were teaching, and people got mad, and they said, "These are the men who turned the world upside down." I want Faith in Sports to be part of the movement that turns the whole world upside down. We want to turn it upside down. We want to turn it upside down to the point that people who have been on the bottom for so long are now going to be on the top.
Mm-hmm. And that's and when you open the Bible, it say that too.
Yes, yes, sir.
So we gotta,
Yes, sir.
it's we're gonna, and we are doing this through sports, but it's when you look at our logo back here, faith starts first.
Faith starts first.
Yeah, faith is first. That's the number one thing. That's what all these sports athletes had to have to get to the point that they at.
That's right.
So
everybody has to start off with faith. Everybody has to start off with faith.
Yeah, you got to believe in something.
Yes. And we don't believe in something, you might as well believe in God.
Come on, that ain't. Yeah, you don't want to believe in some of these folk out here, man. I mean, think about it. You don't want to believe in, man. Brian, the documentary that I was looking at yesterday with Brian Williams, his own brother killed him because he was mad at the success that he had.
Yeah, that's Cain and Abel's story right there.
And through him, he took him all the way out in the middle of the ocean and threw him in the water. And then when the boat came back, he had repainted the whole thing.
Wow.
That's cold, man.
That's the Cain and Abel story all over again. Cain killed Abel because he was jealous of his success, and I believe there's a lot of people that don't realize that they got a whole bunch of people in their life that's jealous of their success. But if you just keep your eyes on God, if you stay focused, then God will reveal to you the circle that you need around you.
Mm-hmm. If we, I'm a piggyback off what Jim said earlier. He said if you just focus on the kingdom that God has you in and what you're supposed to be doing, all this other stuff outside of here, you won't be. None of that matters.
Yes.
None of that stuff matters because you're focusing on your kingdom, man. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
All this chaos and all this, these politics and all these different rules people trying to change. We ain't worried about that because the one person that is in control of everything, he done already created and made the rules, and you can't go out and you can't go outside of that.
That's true. One of the things we talk about when we talk about sports and team sports, you need the right team around you to have true success.
Yeah, and might I say, the team we got.
Whoa.
The team we got right here it's built. What do you say? Built to go to the top. We're going straight to the top.
We was at Buffalo Wild Wings when we had the draft and team draft the best players. I remember seeing you on social media. I was like, I got to draft him. That's my number one pick right there. Ryan's my number one pick.
Hey man, and I'm gonna tell you, boy, I was doing some things, but I don't think I would have been able to be in some of the positions that I'm in if I ain't walking to your office.
Man, you always had the talent to be a star. Now we're gonna work together and we're gonna reach for the stars, Ryan.
Yeah, man, we're gonna be like Jalen Hurts, man. We're going to the top, man.
Oh Lord, it's only gonna last 1 year. Oh my goodness.
Hey man, we got to do it like that,
man. Favorite sports, we're on our way to the top, America.
All right, man. Look, I'm gonna let you close out this show today, man. I'm gonna let you enjoy that sunshine.
Man, I'm gonna close it out. The sun is hot. I'm sweating all over the place. I'm hoping you're warm wherever you are. Well, I guess you're not. But America, guess what? Same time, same channel, same thing we do every day. We're gonna roll to the top, America. Keep rolling, America. Keep rolling.